Hello, I'm Maddie,
I'm Karina.
and this is Everything But the Fairy Tale Sync. We are recording the same day as our Q&A video, but look, I changed. I have a head thing on.
And I have blue light glasses on, which is
Yes,
why
yes,
there's
you
a
do.
glare in my eyeballs.
Yes. So, there's not much of a catch up here because, again, we're filming the same day.
Yeah.
But this episode is probably one of the most famous of Greek myths, really. And that is Orpheus and Eurydice. So before we get into the episode, Karina, what's your little recommendation?
My recommendation is the band Meet Me at the Altar. The at is an at symbol. They are a pop punk band, all female, and they're great.
Nice. My recommendation is the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. It is it is without a doubt my favorite movie. I love it so much. It's got the late Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles in it, and it is based off of Shakespeare's play The Taming of the Shrew.
Except it's remarkably better than the Taming of the
Except it is remarkably better than Taming of the Shrew.
Shrew. All right.
So,
are we ready to get into this?
Yes, we are. So before I get into the myth that we all know, I'm going to give a little bit of background on Orpheus and Eurydice themselves. So we build them as people before we get into their tragic love story. So Orpheus was a talented musician at the time in Greece, and it is said that his father was Apollo and his mother was Calliope, one of the muses. And there is another story that he was the son of, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to do my best, Ogyges, a king of Thrace, which is in northeastern Greece. And he charmed everyone who heard him sing and play. You know, you have this handsome young man playing his lyre and singing a little ditty.
Wait,
and
lyre?
Yes.
Is it not liar?
Oh, it is a liar. He's playing his. I'm a liar for saying lyre.
He's just playing King Lear, speaking of Shakespeare.
Anyway, so you have this handsome young man playing a lyre. And one thing that people might not know about Orpheus is that he actually joined the Argonauts on their trip. And when they came across the sirens, he was actually able to play his lyre over the sound of the sirens singing so that they were able to go through safely.
God, my brain is just going to, I think it was like a Vine or something, of one lady was playing Kids Bop and another dude was playing like heavy metal, and they were just trying to do it louder.
Trying to outdo each other. And then another, not as well-known thing is that while Orpheus was with the Argonauts, he fell in love with Calais, who was the son of Boreas. So Orpheus is actually canonically bisexual.
I mean, most Greeks are.
That's true, but the more I get into this, the more you're like, oh. So anyways, and he was also apparently a patron of a religious movement based on his sacred writings and music, which I know you look confused. I will get more into that later. It's
okay.
It's mind-blowing to me, honestly. Anyway, so that is a little bit of background on Orpheus. And on to Eurydice. So Eurydice, sadly, I could not find much information on her, but she was a wood nymph who Orpheus fell for pretty much immediately. Like, he set eyes on her and he's like, you. Yeah.
No, that song from Hadestown, which, disclaimer, I love Hadestown. I have only gotten through the first half, so please don't come for me. Just to come home with me. That's accurate. Who are you?
Yes, so she was beautiful and shy, but was drawn in by his music, as all people were. And don't think too much on this, but she was a daughter of Apollo as well. I said don't think too much on it. Don't think too much on it. You can't think too much on
it. It's Greek, it's fine.
We don't even need to get into
Okay, can I ask something, though?
Yes. Ask anything. Ask away.
Where did Orpheus's boyfriend go?
It was just like a little fling. Like, they stopped, they had a fling, they left, Orpheus moved on.
So instead of dating a hot sailor, he was like my half-sister.
Well, technically it was a demigod because he was the son of the wind god Boreas.
Even better! Okay. We're gonna pretend like it's the legend where Orpheus is or not the daughter, the son of the
Of the
king,
king.
and
Yeah,
not
we're gonna.
Apollo.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So, Orpheus and Eurydice meet. It's love at first sight. The two are head over heels for each other, and they get married as soon as possible because that's what you do in the olden days.
Of course.
So, they're married. They're having a good life. And one day, a shepherd gets jealous of Orpheus and wants Eurydice for himself. So he plans to kill Orpheus and take Eurydice to be his bride. So Orpheus and Eurydice are having, just a good little day in the forest. The shepherd goes to strike. Orpheus realizes what's up. He takes Eurydice by the hand and they go zoom. They leave. They go into the woods. Well, sadly, as they're running, Eurydice steps on a viper and dies. So this is where the popular myth that we all know picks up.
Wow.
So Orpheus, like any man in love, did, the most rational thing to do. He went to the underworld, straight to the king of hell himself, Hades, and was like, "Can I have my wife back?"
I'm gonna talk so the viewers can see my face right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like John Mulaney, "That's my wife!"
I was gonna make a joke. I can't even.
Yep. So, Hades was like, "Okay, what's this mortal man doing here?" And he gives Orpheus a deal. He says, "If you play your lyre for me, I will give you Eurydice back. I will return your wife to you." So Orpheus plays a tune, and Hades and Persephone, so drawn in by his singing and his playing, agree that Eurydice can go back to the land of the living on one condition. Orpheus, no matter how badly he wants to, cannot look behind him. He has to trust that Eurydice is there.
So, am I correct in that it's until both of them leave the underworld?
Yes, until both of them are out of the underworld, he cannot look behind him, or Orpheus will be able to leave, but Eurydice will remain trapped in the underworld forever, and they will be reunited when Orpheus eventually dies. So Orpheus takes the deal because, who doesn't want to get their dead wife back? So he's walking, and he does a really good job. He trusts that Eurydice is behind him. But upon seeing the first light of the new day, right as he's leaving the underworld, he turns around. Right as he's leaving, just because he wanted to share the beautiful moment with his wife in hopes that she had already stepped out of the underworld as well.
Wait until literally, like,
See, I always thought he made it halfway and was like, "Is she still with me?" But no, he's literally on the cusp of leaving the underworld with her. And he turns around. So
I hope that it's focusing on my face right now because I'm so disappointed.
yes. So sadly, Eurydice must stay in the underworld, but Orpheus was free to leave. He was free to go about the rest of his life. So, heartbroken, he went back a second time to Hades. But Hades said, "Hey, I give you your chance, and you blew it." So he was not allowed a second entry into the underworld to get Eurydice back. Anyways, so Orpheus is, understandably heartbroken. So what does he do for the rest of his life? What does he do for the rest of his life? Wanders the world aimlessly. That's what he did.
He doesn't even do anything productive with his pain.
No, he just wanders. But in another version, the Ovid version, which we actually mentioned in the werewolves episode, was it?
Yes.
Okay, so we mentioned Ovid's metamorphosis in the werewolf
King
episode.
Lycan.
Yes. So Ovid comes back in this, and in Ovid's version in Metamorphosis, Orpheus never took another female lover, but took many a man to be his lover. Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Yep. So,
but can you imagine how Eurydice would feel when he comes back to the underworld and he's like, I never loved another woman. And then, like, one of his boyfriends comes by and he's like, I mean, that's true.
Exactly. So that's, that's the story of Orpheus and Eurydice as we all know it. But I'm going to go further and talk about Orpheus and the various versions of his death.
Oh, good God.
Because apparently you can have many versions of how somebody died. So the first one is that because there were so many scorned women, because, he refused to take another female lover, they had it up to here and they murdered him. They just straight up, like this whole group of ladies was like, that guy, he won't love us. Let's kill him.
Can't you just let him be gay and at peace?
No. So then they chopped him up and threw him and his lyre into the river and just
his lyre.
And his lyre.
In his lyre. I thought they like shoved him in the lyre.
No!
That doesn't even work though, because a lyre's like a mini harp.
No. Another account. This is one that I don't know how it happened, but another account, he was at an orgy. They killed him at the orgy under the orders of Dionysus because Dionysus, the wine god, was jealous that Orpheus liked Apollo, the music god, better than him. So Dionysus...
Tell me that's not romantically.
So Dionysus was like, you, murder that guy.
Is that romantically?
No, it's not romantically. The fact that Orpheus is a musician liking a music god better than a wine god, and the wine god was like, hey, this isn't acceptable, so they had him murdered at an orgy.
The fact that at least it's not more incest makes me feel better.
Wow. So either account of what happened, the muses found his lyre. They found his lyre. Yeah. They found his lyre, and they found his body, and they gave him a proper burial. So
that's nice of them.
Yes, exactly. So because of that, Orpheus was finally reunited with his love, Eurydice, in the underworld, and they lived happily ever after in the underworld.
Well, unlived.
Lived. They were dead. They don't technically have
a really nice ending.
Yes. So we're going to get into how, because Orpheus and Eurydice is so popular, we're going to get into how that myth and variations of it have inspired things in pop culture. So the legend of Orpheus and Eurydice and variations of it have been seen in operas and poems and stories. And most famously, probably, is the 2019 musical Hades Town with Eva, I forget how to pronounce it.
Eva Noblenza and Ruth Carney,
respectively playing Eurydice and Orpheus.
Yes.
So that is probably one of the most popular. And this is a quote from Tim J. Myers, who is a researcher of this myth. And he says, one way to consider Orpheus's legacy is to chart the way he's been a flashpoint for debates about love, sexuality, and gender.
Interesting.
Yes. So do you remember that little mystery religion I mentioned to you?
Yeah, no, I need to know more about that.
So the mystery religion is called the Orphic religion because Orpheus. And yeah, exactly. It is based on the writings and songs of Orpheus and credited with creating Orphic hymns. So even though there's all of this, there's no actual historical evidence that this was ever a thing. So while people believe it was a religion, there's nothing written and recorded that it was a religion.
Interesting. And I'm assuming that the writings of Orpheus have never been found.
I am not so sure about that, but it is believed that there was at least a movement where priests traveled and taught based on Orpheus's works.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay. And then part of the ritual to, appease Orpheus, which this is very backhanded, I feel, is to mime or actually dismember a person who represents Dionysus. Can you imagine, you're Orpheus, you're chilling in the underworld with your wife and your various ex-lovers, and it's like, hey, we're going to worship him today by cutting up a person or pretending to cut up a person that resembles the person who had him murdered in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, so back to those writings. This is from Wikipedia, full disclosure. A number of Greek religious poems and hexameters were attributed to Orpheus, as they were to similar miracle-working figures like Bacchus, Musaeus, are people. Of this vast literature, only 2 works survived whole: the Orphic Hymns, a set of 87 poems, and what's the other one? And the epic poem Argonautica, composed somewhere between the 4th and 6th century. So there are possible writings.
So so that means that those hymns, then the Orphic hymns that you just mentioned and that I have mentioned, are what this religion is said to be based on.
Yes.
So those 87 poems are the foundation for this so-called, may or may not have existed, religion.
It's what we think would be there.
You know, this religion, this Orphic religion, was said to stress on rewards and punishment after a person died. So the way that they live their life ends up contributing to rewards or punishments that they get in death.
But isn't that just the, like, Olympic religion?
Yes. So then this, in turn, frees the soul to live up to its true potential. So if you know, I think it's supposed to be what you know early on what you will be getting in death. So therefore, you're free to live your life instead of worrying about how your actions will affect your treatment after life.
Got it.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep. So what did you think? That's our that's Orpheus and Eurydice for you.
It's something.
I mean, we all know the story. Eurydice gets bit by a viper. Eurydice dies. Orpheus goes to Hades. Hades says, yeah, dude, you can have her on one condition.
He fails.
He fails miserably.
And then stuff happens.
My favorite thing, though, is like, yes, he was either murdered by scorned women or at an orgy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, oh, no, not what's coming next. What is your wish for the audience?
My wish is that when you are cleaning your bookshelf, you will find, I'm going to steal a little bit from you, you will find a little bit of money you forgot you had.
Wow, you really are just taken from me. My wish is that if you go thrift store shopping anywhere, you find some hidden treasures. You know, I went thrift store shopping yesterday with a friend, and I ended up walking away with 4 books and a poster for $5.
Nice.
I know, like, such great sales.
Fabulous. I don't know what's coming next, so that's why I'm on my phone.
Oh, yes. Anyway, next week is, drum roll while you look.
We will be looking into the Rusalka, which are the Russian ladies of nature. I will not tell you any more than that. I can let you know, though, it's going to be pretty whack. Because my episodes always are.
I was gonna say, you tend to have more of the creature, strange stories. I tend to have more of the, hey, how much can I scare you?
Yeah.
Which
this was a nice break from that, though.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about us as people, though.
It really does. Anyways, bye!
Yeah, bye!